Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Master Minutes. Now for this episode, I'm actually going to do something slightly differently. I'm going to attach the Toastmasters project that I did a couple of weeks ago on the Amygdala Hijack or the Emotional Hijack to this video. And that's sort of the feeling or the transition that's going to happen to Master Minutes, where the projects that I do on stage for Toastmasters will be about leadership and emotions and leadership capacity, all sorts of different topics related to leadership. And I'm going to post those as the Master Minutes. Now, please go ahead and watch. The Amygdala Hijack is something that has fascinated me for so long, and it is so interesting. So please go and have a watch. Give me some feedback on how I presented it and also on the content, so that the next time I do a project, I can make it more tailored for our leaders out there. And who knows, maybe I'll see you on the TED stage someday. But until the next episode, remember to lead with a purpose to charge your potential.
May I request the evaluator, Toastmaster Manuel, to explain Andrew's speech objectives.
Okay, so the objectives for the speech are to select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purposes, organize the speech in a manner that best achieves those purposes, ensure the beginning, body, and conclusion reinforce the purposes, project sincerity and conviction and control any nervousness you may feel, strive not to use notes. All the best.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Andrew with Surviving Reflex. Surviving the Reflex by Toastmaster Andrew.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
One word, 2 syllables. If it happens to you, it will bring you to your knees crumbling from fear. If it happens to anybody you know, it will send shivers down your spine. It is the most feared word in aviation. Hijack. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to talk about gaining illegal control of a commercial jetliner. I'm here to talk about the hijack that takes place in you and I, otherwise known as the Amygdala Hijack. Chapter presidents, distinguished guests, and fellow Toastmasters, a very good evening.
Good evening.
Now, have you ever found yourself in a car driving from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, and somebody overtakes you, jumps in front of you, and you go, "Oh, out of here, that was dangerous! How could you?" Once you calm down and you come back to rational thinking, you think to yourself, "Oh, that was a bit out of character, or a little bit dramatic." Ever happened?
Yes.
What about for the parents in the room, or the aunts and uncles, or nephews and nieces? You're on vacation, you haven't gone on vacation in about 3 months. You're at some beach resort, lying in the sun, reading a book, really taking it in. You can see the kids playing in the distance over there. And you're thinking to yourself, please don't let one of them fall down. And before you even finish that thought, one's down. How quick were you not only on your feet, but to their rescue? What about those of you who have a fear of snakes? Anybody got a fear of snakes here? Definitely me. Now, not only when I see them in a magazine or on TV or in a zoo, wherever, I react in one of 2 ways. Either one, I jump out of fear, or I freeze, anticipating the excruciating, crushing death that is coming my way if this python grabs hold of me. Now, the Amygdala Hijack is a beautiful chemical process that has been taking place in the human brain for millions and millions of years throughout evolution. Understanding exactly what it is gives you power over your reactions, and practice in that will help you become and stay the calm person in the room. So for my speech tonight, I'm going to break it down into 4 areas. What an Amygdala Hijack is, what is happening to you when you are going through it, what happens afterwards, and how, most importantly, you can prevent it from happening. Would you like to go on this journey with me?
Yes.
All right. So, in order to find out what an Amygdala Hijack is, we have to throw some history books onto the table, and we have to dissect the brain in a bit of biology. So stay with me. We'll start off over here. Your brain, very basically, is broken down into 3 lobes. Me standing on the stage over here represents the brain stem, which is located just at the back of your skull, and goes into your spinal cord. Your brainstem is also where your amygdala gland is located. Now the brainstem is in reptiles that have been around for millions and millions of years and are still around today. Think crocodiles and alligators. Now they have three primal instincts, that is to survive, procreate, and protect. They are living, breathing, eating, killing machines. In humans today, that survival, protection, and procreation can be translated into ego, status, and identity. Then as we've evolved into the middle section of the brain, which is called the limbic system, where your emotional brain consists or stays, and we register as human beings over 3,000 emotions. Yes, gentlemen, you too. In this part of the brain, you'll also find your reflexes. Some of them you may know, some of them you may not. We'll refer to them as the 6 Fs. Flight, fight, feed, flounder, flock, and freeze. We'll get into them a little bit later. But also, in your limbic system, you'll find your thalamus gland, which is your warning system. Also something we'll touch on a little bit later. Finally, when we move on to this area of the stage, we have where is located in the front of our skull, our higher cortex, our frontal lobe. This is where your consciousness can be found. This is where your logical thinking is. This is where your morals, your standards, your values, your ability to debate and make decisions is found, your rationale, as they would say. So now that we've dissected the brain, what happens in an amygdala hijack is the following process. So when your ego, status, or identity is threatened, somebody's making me feel less of a person, or somebody's boasting about their house being bigger than mine. My ego, my status, my identity is being threatened. So your frontal, your higher cortex sends a signal to your emotional brain, where your reflexes are. And that warning system, that thalamus, sends out a warning system. Whoop, whoop, terrain, pull up, react. You are being threatened, react. That warning system goes all the way back to your brainstem, and your amygdala releases a chemical hormone called cortisol. Now, when cortisol is released into your brain, it doesn't just stop in the brainstem. It floods your entire brain. You lose all logical thinking, and now you fight. Let me get out of here, it's dangerous. Or you fight, how dare you take me on? You freeze. You flounder. You flock. You get a gang of people to stand up with you, safety in numbers. Or, believe it or not, you feed. Now, feeding might not sound like a very, very important thing, but there is worldwide feeding epidemic. And it started when you were this big. You cannot communicate with your parents when you're a baby. So when you're upset, what did they do? Give you a pacifier, give you a bottle. Translated into today's age, let's have a drink, let me smoke a cigarette. In a stressful situation. So now that we know what happens in an amygdala hijack, what happens after an amygdala hijack is you are still sensitive to having another one for 4 hours after the first one, which lasted approximately 20 minutes. Once it happens, you cannot get out of it. It's going to happen. Now, would you like to know how to stop that?
Yes.
Fantastic. I call it the 5-palm pause. 5, look for 5 things that you can physically see. 4, look for 4 things that you can physically touch. 3, look for 3 things that you can smell. And 2, take 2 big, deep listening with your ears to spot 2 sounds, traffic, whatever. And finally, 1, take a big, deep breath, because in a big, deep breath, oxygen is the only thing that depletes the cortisol. And with that, I'm going to take a big, deep breath as my amygdala hijack from coming on stage comes to an end. Over to you, Toastmaster Lee.